2023 is a year packed with games. There are numerous titles of various sizes, from small indie games to massive open world games. There are a select number of these which are coming exclusively to PlayStation platforms. In today's video, I will be discussing every single PlayStation exclusive coming to consoles in 2023. Forspoken is a timed PlayStation exclusive. It's developed by Luminous Productions, the team who developed Final Fantasy 15. In Forspoken, we follow Frey, a New Yorker who is transported to the beautiful and cruel land of Athea. The gameplay of Forspoken looks pretty cool. The traversal looks fluid and seems like it will have tons of variety. Being able to use a magic grappling hook to travel around is a plus in my book. It seems like an interesting world, but this is a game that I'm not particularly interested in. The main thing that has me worried about this game is what I've seen of the writing.
Did I just do that?
We did.
I just moved shit with my freaking mind!
Dialogue like that does not give me much confidence. Sony has managed to secure quite a few exclusives to 2023 from Square Enix. Square Enix recently sold off most of their Western development to the Embracer Group for $300 million USD. They sold mainly 3 teams, being Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and Square Enix Montreal, which has now been shuttered. Along with this, IP such as Tomb Raider and Deus Ex went to Embracer. With the moves Square Enix is making, they seem to be preparing themselves for an acquisition, and the most likely buyer may be PlayStation. They have a lot of lineage with PlayStation, and Japanese companies will always prefer to sell to another Japanese company. Forspoken is releasing on the 24th of Jan 2023. Another PlayStation exclusive coming from Square in 2023 is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is the second part in the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy. At the end of the first game, we left Midgar, and now we are free to explore the world. Final Fantasy VII Remake being 3 parts makes a lot of sense, because it matches the 3 discs of the original PS1 game. However, there is a lot of content to cover in Rebirth. I suspect this game will end after the party gets to the Whirlwind Maze, and the exchange of the Black Materia occurs. In my mind, that is the logical breakpoint for Rebirth, because then it allows Cloud to very quickly be placed back as the lead party member in Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3. It will be interesting to see how the inclusion of Zack being alive now after Final Fantasy VII Remake will impact future events. Are Square going to use this as an excuse to prevent Aerith's death? Will we find out more about Sephiroth's early interference in the events of the Final Fantasy VII Remake timeline? I suspect that Remake Intergrade has laid some groundwork for this game in some way. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is currently undated but has a loose release date of 2023, exclusively for PS5. Final Fantasy XVI is the next mainline Final Fantasy and is being developed by Square Enix. Many of the developers who worked on Final Fantasy XIV worked on 16. It's been 7 years since Final Fantasy XV released. We've been told that the game has been content complete for over a year now, and has begun the polishing phase. It's the return of Final Fantasy to high fantasy. Final Fantasy XVI is an open-world action JRPG. The game will feature the many mainstays of Final Fantasy, such as chocobos and summons. Summons in Final Fantasy XVI are called Acons. Final Fantasy XVI seems very Game of Thrones-esque to me, with multiple kingdoms and various resources. Final Fantasy XVI is releasing on the 22nd of June 2023 and is coming exclusively to PS5. Season, A Letter to the Future is developed by Scavenger Studios and looks absolutely amazing. It's a game with a very distinct look. It features a cel-shaded art style. If you were to show me screenshots of various games, Season would be very easy to pick out because it looks different and stands out. It's a very unique concept for a game. It's a third-person atmospheric adventure game, where you explore the world on your bicycle and record memories in your journal, before a mysterious cataclysm washes everything away. The game has one big question surrounding it: what happens when the season changes? Season, A Letter to the Future is releasing on the 31st of January 2023, and is coming to both PS4 and PS5. Horizon Call of the Mountain is a launch game for PSVR 2. It's a spin-off in the Horizon series developed by Firesprite. The game is about the player exploring a mountain to discover why the machines are attacking. In order to accomplish this, you'll need to journey all the way to the top. Firesprite was a recent acquisition for PlayStation Studios. I would suspect that the game was testing well and impressed Sony, and this prompted the acquisition. Firesprite are allegedly also working on a new Twisted Metal game for PlayStation, which was taken away from Lucid Games after the underperformance of Destruction All-Stars. Horizon Call of the Mountain will launch with PSVR 2 on the 22nd of February 2023 for PS5. Bramble the Mountain King is a puzzle game inspired by Nordic fairy tale. In the game, you will play as a little boy who will set out into the world in order to save his sister. It's an indie game developed by Dimfrost Studios. It certainly has a unique art style. I personally think it looks weird, but art is subjective. Bramble the Mountain King currently has no release date, but will hit PlayStation 5 consoles in 2023. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is the sequel to 2018's smash hit Marvel's Spider-Man and the PS5 launch title Spider-Man Miles Morales. It's developed by Insomniac Games, with the key staff from the first game returning to work on the sequel. Very few details are known about Marvel's Spider-Man 2. What we do know about Spider-Man 2 is that both Peter Parker and Miles Morales are in the game. Whether it is co-op is unknown, but I suspect that you will be able to switch between both characters at points in the game. I have a feeling this game will tie into Wolverine in some way, whether that be Wolverine shows up in a side mission or just Easter eggs. The game will feature our two protagonists going up against new foes like Kraven the Hunter and Venom. I am really excited to see Insomniac's take on these two very interesting Spider-Man villains. I'm curious how they will make them their own, as they have with all the villains they have done up to this point, especially in the cases of like Mr. Negative, Vulture and the Tinkerer. This is the PlayStation exclusive that I and many others are most excited for this year. Currently has no date announced for its release, but I am sure that will change within the coming month. Stellar Blade is a post-apocalyptic action game developed by the Korean studio Shift Up. Stellar Blade looks like it is the perfect mix of Souls-like gameplay and action games from the 2000s, such as Devil May Cry and Star Wars The Force Unleashed. With intense action, Stellar Blade will be a game to watch out for in 2023. Skim is a fun, small-scale indie title, where you use shadows in your environment to traverse through various levels. It looks really refreshing and innovative. It's a game that stands out not only because of its concept, but its art style as well. The music in the game sets a very uplifting tone. With every game wanting to be bigger and more realistic, it's nice to see something that has a unique art style. With every game wanting to be bigger and more realistic, it's nice to see something that is smaller and has a unique art style. I had no idea this game existed before putting this list together, and now I'm really excited for it. Skim currently has no release date, but will hit PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 consoles in 2023. Pacific Drive is developed by Ironwood. It's a first-person survival game set in the northwest region of the United States. With your car as your only companion, you'll travel deep into the Olympic exclusion zone, a surreal and mysterious place that's been abandoned for decades. It's a very intriguing idea for a game. It's a concept I've never seen done before. I'm excited to see how the game turns out when it releases in 2023. Silent Hill 2 is receiving a PlayStation exclusive remake for PS5. The remake is developed by Bloober Team. It's the long anticipated return of the Silent Hill franchise, after being dormant for about 10 years. It will be ditching the gameplay of the original Silent Hill 2 in favour of a third-person perspective with an over-the-shoulder camera. Silent Hill 2 is considered one of the greatest survival horror games ever made. It's got lofty expectations to live up to. One thing that doesn't make sense to me is, why start by remaking 2? Wouldn't you want to remake the first game before the second game for some continuity? Silent Hill 2 Remake is currently undated but will make its way to PS5 in 2023. Very little is known about The Last of Us factions. It's not officially confirmed that this game will come out in 2023. However, we will learn more about this game in 2023. All we know is that the game is set in a post-apocalyptic San Francisco. Naughty Dog have been working on factions since before The Last of Us Part 2 released. It was intended to release with that game. The Last of Us Factions is a part of Sony's initiative to release 10 first-party live service games by the end of 2025. I suspect Factions will be a lot like The Division, specifically the Dark Zone. It will be you and numerous other people in the city looting for supplies, completing tasks and scavenging supplies. Naughty Dog recently hired Anders Howard as the principal monetization designer. He created the Battle Pass for Fortnite. From this, we can glean that there will be some form of monetization in Factions. I suspect it will be cosmetic. Factions is Naughty Dog's next game, whether it comes in 2023 or 2024. It will be interesting to see whether it's a full price release or free to play. 2023 is a year to be remembered in gaming. With all these amazing and varied titles releasing, it will certainly be a year that is hard to top in the future. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. Let me know what PlayStation exclusive you are looking forward to in 2023. What titles are you hoping to see announced or learn more about? Let me know in the comments. If you would like to support me and my content, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. Share my videos. Comment what videos you would like to see. Your support of a small YouTuber such as myself is greatly appreciated.